You're listening to the Icandemy Podcast, the podcast for people who can but don't know how. This is where you get actionable steps to turn vague dreams into blissful realities. And I'm your host, Omoshola Victoria Wolabi. So let's get started. Do you ever think to yourself, I want to be able to impact lives, leave an imprint in this world, but you feel isolated, stuck, unclear on how to show up or get started? If you've answered yes to this question, I want to extend a very special invitation to you to join us on our upcoming workshop, the Courageous Confidence Workshop. This workshop is live, where we get to work together on that call so that you can crack the confidence code, awaken your inner giant, show up authentically, and attract your tribe. Head on over to offers.icandemy.org/courageous. Again, it's offers.icandemy.org/courageous. You'll find the links in the show notes below. Hello and welcome back to the Icandemy Podcast. I'm super excited to be recording this today. I hope you have been keeping well and I hope you've had a fantastic week. As always, thank you so much for coming back and tuning in week after week after week. I really do not take that for granted and I appreciate every single one of you. Thank you so much. And if you're a first-time listener, do not be a stranger. Head on over to www.icandemy.org and use the voicemail tool there to leave me a message. I love hearing from you. I love hearing your voices. And if that's not your thing, no problem. Just send me an email to hello@icandemy.org. I read every single message that I get and I always respond. Okay, on today's episode, we're going to be talking about the meaning of growth. As we explored in the last episode, we explored the prerequisite for stepping into opportunities and why challenges are built-in ladders to recognizing and creating opportunities in our lives. Today, we're going to be covering growth, the elements and stages of growth, and how we can develop the patience to actually grow and become. Now, before we even go ahead into any of this, let us first of all explore the meaning of growth. What does it mean to grow? What is growth? The dictionary actually defines growth as the act or process or manner of growing. It means it is a gradual increase in size or stage of development. So hence, growth can be defined as the gradual increase in size or stage of development. Keyword, gradual. That is the part a lot of us miss, right? It is the gradual increase in size or stage of development. A lot of us have a problem with the word gradual. We want it fast and we want it now. When we do it that way, we are doing something else other than grow, right? Because growth is something that has been designed by God Himself. Built into every living thing is the ability to grow. We see it in plants, we see it in animals, we see it in human beings. And guess what else? Growth takes time. You do not plant a corn seed today and it sprouts tomorrow. It takes time for growth to happen. The same way you see a baby lion born today, it doesn't just become the king of the jungle tomorrow. No, it grows into that identity. The same way you have a baby. Your baby does not just become an adult the next day. There is a process, years of growth in there. That is the very nature of growth. Where did this concept of growth originate from? I'm glad you asked. In Genesis 1:28, we see that God gives a command to man When I say man in this context, I am not talking about just the male gender. I'm talking about male and female because it tells us that God called their name Adam, man, right? It was Adam who then called Eve, Eve, right? God did not name Eve, Eve. So when I use the context, when I say man, I am in the context here referring to both male and female, right? So in Genesis 1:28, we see God bless them and he says to them, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth, subdue it and have dominion. What does that even mean? Be, wherever you see the word be in the Bible, it denotes a command or connotes rather a command, right? So be, when God says, let there be light, it means it was a command. Light be. Be fruitful. You, man, be fruitful. It was a command because the reason why would God give man such a command? The reason why was because God had deposited something, because the prerequisite to this verse says he blessed them and then said, be fruitful. Okay, family, let's face it. We've all felt pain. We've suffered the losses. You know what it's like to want something so bad, but not see a path to its accomplishment. The question, however, is, do you know how to pick yourself up and move on despite what has happened? This is what I share with you inside of my new book, Good Medicine for the Crushed Spirit, a practical guide to helping you find purpose when adversity strikes. Inside this book, you will find personal stories, relatable biblical tales, and anecdotes that prove you are never alone in your despair. I will inspire you to turn pain, discomfort, disappointment, or setbacks into something positive that works for you. So if you're ready to change your life in meaningful and purposeful ways, get your copy of this book today and let the transformation begin. The blessing is the seed that he deposited inside of us. And when he put the seed in, then he commanded the seed to be fruitful, multiply, replenish the earth, subdue it, and have dominion, right? So you will see that growth is something that God had already built into creation from the very beginning. And if we look at Genesis 9:1, after the whole mess had happened and the flood had happened, when God was going to do this thing again, the same thing happened. And God blessed Noah and his sons, this is Genesis 9:1, and said unto them, be fruitful, multiply, and replenish the earth. So there was that command again, to be fruitful. This tells me that as human beings or as living organisms, we do not have a choice but to grow. It is built into the very existence of who we are. Now, what are the 3 ingredients for growth? What are the 3 ingredients? What do we need to grow for us to actually know that we are growing? What are the 3 ingredients? Based on my personal research and study, I found 3 of them. Number 1 is purpose. Number 2, skills and ability. Number 3, value and demand. When we look at purpose, purpose is the reason for the existence of a thing, right? So say, for example, you plant a corn. What is the purpose behind that action? Why did you plant the corn in the first place? You planted it because you have an expectation that this corn will grow and become a source of sustenance for you in terms of providing food, or it could become a raw material to create another product. Maybe you turn the corn to pap or to maize powder, something like that, right? Or you turn it into a skincare ingredient, cornstarch, whatever it is. There is a purpose behind the action why you planted the corn, right? Now, skills and ability, using the same analogy of the corn. The corn seed has the potential built into it, the ability to grow. That seed has the ability, it has the skills built into that little seed that you see to grow. What you did was you put it in the right environment. You took the seed that had this ability and you put it in the right environment for it to actually begin to display what it can do, right? So you put it in the soil, you made sure the soil was conducive, you watered it, you exposed it to sunlight, and you left it to do its thing. Because built into that corn seed is the ability for it to become and fulfill purpose, right? The next ingredient for growth is value and demand. Nobody wants to waste their time doing anything that is they consider not valuable. What do I mean by that? Remember, the value and demand is tied to what? Purpose. You, before you planted that corn seed, had a purpose for it. It is either going to be a sustenance, a resource to sustain you in the future in terms of providing you food, or a resource that becomes a raw material that becomes another thing that you need. Those things is what gives the corn value. Nobody just goes and plants weeds for no reason, right? You did the action because there is value and demand for the corn when it fulfills its purpose. Are you seeing? So the ingredients for growth is that there is purpose, there is skill and ability, and there's value and demand. That is how we know that we are designed for growth, because number one, we are purposeful. We are here for a reason. Number two, we all have a particular ability to do something. Whether or not you went to school is irrelevant. God has given every man a gift. There is something you know how to do. Now, you need to actually do the do for you to realize the value, right? Because we improve on skill and ability, and that is how we start to generate the value and demand, and it ultimately will lead us back into our purpose. So those are the three ingredients that are required for growth, right? Like I said, if we look at purpose, it is the reason why something is done or created, for which something exists, the aim or intention of something. It is a person's sense of resolve or determination, right? So on this particular episode, I just wanted you to understand the meaning of growth and the three ingredients required to grow. On the next episode, we are going to be continuing this conversation, so do not go anywhere. Stay tuned, and until then, keep on shining. This episode is sponsored by our very own Mogul Mindset Training. Are you ready to embrace new experiences, see opportunities where you thought there was none, and totally surprise yourself? Because you can, by unleashing the power of your mind. Mogul Mindset System is a 5-step system that helps you retrain your mind to work with you and not against you, so you can awaken your inner giant, 10x your impact, your income, and become truly unstoppable. The truth is, you, my friend, have a superpower, your creative genius. And I'm here to make that power multiply manyfold so you can get past fear, self-doubt, and finally start working and thriving in your life and business. Ready to unleash your superpowers? I thought you would. Head over to mogul.icandemy.org. That's mogul.icandemy.org to learn more. So there you have it. Thank you so much for listening. And for more content like this, follow us on our social media handles. On Facebook, it's at Icandemy, the Facebook page. On Instagram, it's at Icandemy. Or come say hello over on my personal page. On Instagram, it's at Omoshola Speaks. On Facebook, it's Victoria Wolabi. Feel free to reach out, introduce yourself, say hello. I love meeting you. And if you have any stories that you feel will inspire another woman to action, I want to hear from you. I really do. I love hearing from you. Send me an email to hello@icandemy.org. So it's hello@icandemy.org.